Hey guys, I'm going to show you how to rewrite polynomials in standard form, identify some coefficients of polynomials, classify, and just more polynomial vocabulary. So I'm going to walk you through this section, and it progressively gets harder. But this is really just knowing some basic facts about polynomials. So utilize your Google Classroom notes in section 10.3 and some videos that are there as well. So let's take a look, rewrite the polynomials in standard form. So all you're looking to do is find the highest exponent and put that first, and then in decreasing order from there. So it should go x squared and then minus 1/3 x minus 1. This negative 1 is the constant term. Okay, so let's just do x squared. So x caret 2. You got to press over to get out of the exponent. And then minus 1/3. Oops. Minus 1/3 x, and then minus 1. And that's it. That's all you got to do for writing in standard form. Make sure you're doing decreasing order of powers. Okay, it says it right here too. Okay, so that's how to write it in standard form. To identify coefficients, it just wants you to put it in standard form first, and then identify values of a, b, and c. So the coefficients here for a, b, and c is going to be -1 in front of the x. Right? If it's just a negative sign, it's -1. If it's a y, then it's -4 in front of the y term. And then this constant term is just 1/7. So you can just type that in 1 divided by 7. So it should be that straightforward. It's not too bad. Okay. So rewrite in this form first, whatever it's telling you to write it in, and then it's just the numbers in front of the variables along with the constant term at the end. Okay, so it should be pretty straightforward as well. And then to classify really just requires you to know some terminology. So this is a polynomial because it doesn't have a negative exponent, and it's not in the bottom of a fraction here. So neither of the variables are. So it does represent a polynomial, and then that brings up more options here. So the polynomial is there's two terms, -3p cubed and 3p to the fourth. So that makes it a binomial. There's two terms, so binomial. And it has a degree of 4. That's the highest degree. So whatever the terms are, you can add up the exponents. So in this case, there's only one variable here, so it's just the highest exponent is 4. So I'll go ahead and scroll through this and try to find you one and explain, find you one that has multiple variables here to show you what to do. But it talks about all of the different things and highest degree, and it has two terms, and it talks about all that. Let me see if I can get another one with multiple variables in one of the terms. There's multiple terms. So right here, this one looks really, really funky, but there's no negative exponents. Again, if it's a negative exponent, then it does not represent a polynomial. But if there are no negative exponents, then it does represent a polynomial. And this polynomial there's only two terms, so this is another binomial. Okay, and it has a degree. This one's tricky. This one's to the third. This one's to the third, but this has two variables. So if one of the terms has two variables, you need to add the exponents. So this is z to the first plus to the third. Even though they're not like bases, you just still need to add the exponents, which is a little bit confusing, but that's how you need to do that. Okay, so that will give it to you if you do it like that. Let me see if I can find any that have a negative exponent. I passed one before. Let me see, there's one. So this would not be a polynomial because this term right here has a negative exponent. So you would just go, does not represent a polynomial, and that one's done. That's how fast those ones can be. If it has a negative exponent, or if the exponent is in the bottom of a fraction, that would still make it negative. Okay, so that's how to classify. And this last one is polynomial vocabulary. So this looks a little intimidating, but it's not too bad. It wants to know if it's a quadratic, which means that the highest power is to the second, quintic is to the fifth, linear is to the first, quartic is to the fourth, cubic is to the third. I don't know why they don't go in order. It's a little mixed up here. But my highest exponent is to the fourth, right there. So that makes this a quartic. Okay? And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. That's how many terms there are. The constant term is just a number. So it's this right here. Okay, so it's a 3. And the leading term is the term with the highest exponent or power. So that's this one right here. And make sure you include that negative sign, negative 8x to the fourth. So negative 8x to the fourth. And the leading coefficient is the number in front of the term with the highest power, so negative 8 right there. So that's how to answer all of these questions. Okay? So this one could be a little tricky, but it explains all of it right here. Constant term with no x or no variable. Leading term is the first term in standard form. Okay, so the term with the highest power is the leading term, and the leading coefficient is the number in front of that leading term. Okay, so you just take a little bit of practice with all of the vocabulary. But again, utilize this video, the Google Classroom notes in videos, and it should help you get through online assignment 10 is what this one is. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.